demented, fascistic lunatic who has his finger on the nuclear trigger.
Donald Trump, you racist clown!
The 20th of January 2025. A day worth protesting. A day that will live in history books. You know, the bad ones. We learn about scurvy and the Black Plague and Henry VIII's horrible dating life and all the nasty shit like that. That's right, tomorrow is the first anniversary of Trump's second inauguration. Our second journey into the deepest depths of hell. It is hard to believe it's only been a year because it has felt like 10. In just a year, Trump has overseen these massive accomplishments. The US dollar dropped 10% in value. Energy bills are up 10%. 97% of Trump's brain-dead tariffs have been paid by the consumer. Job growth slowed to the lowest levels since 2003. 100% of our allies fucking hate us. ISIS killed a record number of people in custody. There's been a 4 billion % increase in mentally ill 3M tweets from official accounts, and a 5 trillion % increase in reports of boots licked by MAGA tongues. We cannot go on like this. That sentiment is actually starting to be felt across the aisle too. It is in that spirit in which I'm relieved to report upon even the tiniest glimmers of hope and resistance, and this could be a big one. For on the 1-year anniversary of the inauguration of a mentally ill, narcissist final boss, America is planning to fight back, with the aptly named Free America protest planned to take place. Unlike the No Kings protest, this one has a little more teeth because it's an organized collection of people pledging not to work, not to go to school, and not to engage in the economy. So basically, like me in my mid-20s. All jokes aside, it's something akin to a general strike, and potentially the only kind of reason that the people in charge of our society might listen to. Check this out.
Hi, I'm KOB4's Monica Logroño. I'm here at the Free America rally. You can hear the chants behind me. I'll flip the camera over so you can see how things are looking. So there's just a ton of people here, at least 100, I would say. Everyone has signs. Many of them are angry about the situation in Minneapolis with ICE. I just spoke to organizers who tell me this is actually part one. So this is part one today, the rally on Sunday, and then Tuesday will be part of a national walkout. So here in Albuquerque, they're asking you to walk out to Representative Melanie Stansbury's office on Indian School Road. But nationwide, they say many other people will be walking out because they're just so upset about what President Donald Trump has done. They said that he has infringed on every group's rights. Tonight at 10, I'm going to be talking to organizers and protesters about why they're here, but also I'm going to be getting reaction from the New Mexico GOP's party to see how they feel about this rally.
And as you can see, unlike past protests in the same vein, even the mainstream media is now paying attention. I mean, look at all of these articles about it. I'm just scrolling down here. I'm used in the past with these sort of things, you know, but basically not flying under the radar, only really being seen on Instagram, whereas you've got big papers reporting this, you know, military.com, USA Today is reporting it. The Guardian reported it, Burlington Free Press. I'm not going to keep scrolling, but it's a lot of people talking about this. And I know it's not as fun as a video and reading sucks, but what about a video of me reading to you? Just because the second half of the Guardian article is really good. I really like their reporting here. You know, it's a fair question here. It says how effective are walkouts. A lot of people in America might not even be aware of these things. So as it said, walkouts have long been a tool of activist movements in the United States, from the civil rights movements to calls to end gun violence. It can take time to see the results. It talks about how in 1968, 15,000 students walked out of classrooms across East LA to protest discrimination in the education system against Chicano students. And those groups that did the walkout eventually formed the Educational Issues Coordinating Committee and went on to present a list of students' demands to the LA Board of Action. The walkouts created a cultural shift, as it says, showing the power of the students, and over the ensuing decades, many of their demands will be met. Like, nothing in this world really is instant satisfaction, apart from maybe chocolate followed by a nap. But, you know, everything starts somewhere, and I think this is a great point this article's making. They quote one of the organizers saying, "This is a stress test. We're trying to see what we can do as a movement and what we need to continue to build on so that we can achieve the goals we want to achieve," which is obviously driving fascism back away from American democracy. You know, an enviable, commendable goal, one might say. And this is my favorite quote of the whole article. I think it's powerful, and I think everyone who's been reading the news and feeling cynical, feeling like the world is ending, needs to internalize this. Because even if the world is ending, I mean, I'd like to think it's not, but even if it is ending, you have to believe it isn't. Otherwise, what can you do? Anyway, as the article says, she doesn't know what the results of Fisher's research will show, but she has a hypothesis. "I go to the gym," she said. "I know that practice builds muscle." And this is something the American people, is a muscle they're actively building right now. And it's a muscle we're going to have to keep building in the face of what's happening. And again, trying to push some positivity here, glimmer of hope. Based on the number of events the Women's March has vetted and counted so far, she can say this is the most engagement in action we've had in our organization's history. That's a big deal. The Women's March is a big organization. She says the level of engagement shows organizers of this action that everyday people are ready to lace up their boots and get out in the street, which, yes, I mean, I'm an everyday person, kind of, and even I thought about putting my shoes on. Continuing the spirit of positivity, I want to continue cutting through the cynicism right off the bat if I can. There's a good Axios article about this too. They're citing about 800 Free America events planned for this, which is impressive. More than 38,200 RSVPs. You can see this cute little heat map of events planned. But what I really like about this article is, as they say, the big picture. Last year, protest turnout peaked at 7 million people during the second No Kings rally. Future protests could see 12 million participants, or about 3.5% of the US population. And apparently, 3.5% of the population is considered the point at which it's difficult for governments to ignore calls for change. Harvard Kennedy School research shows. Now, I want to keep cutting through the cynicism in this video, so it's important to note that general strikes are very effective. A general strike ended Russia's monarchy in 1917, just ended it. Wish that could be done in the UK. What's that? Nothing. So as in the Wikipedia article, the largest general strike that ever stopped the economy of an advanced industrial country, and the first general wildcat strike, was May 1968 in France. It involved 11 million workers for 2 weeks in a row, and its impact was so powerful it almost caused the complete collapse of the government. I mean, you know, it's a potent reminder that we the people have the power. Okay, so yes, 200 million workers, 40,000 RSVPs. I know 40,000 RSVPs also doesn't sound like a lot in America. It's a big country. I can already see some of our international viewers scoffing, but the reality is this is kind of unprecedented in America. America, by design, has some of the absolute worst worker protections in the entire developed world. Many people are forced to be utterly reliant on their job here, precisely so they will not march or protest against their employer or the state. So the fact this movement is growing when Americans literally have everything to lose is powerful. It speaks volumes, and it has to start somewhere, and walkouts have been exploding in popularity recently, with the youth leading the charge.
Some students in Minneapolis returned to class today, but others stayed home over safety concerns following the deadly ICE shooting last week. The district is offering families the option of remote learning for the month of January. Meanwhile, young people continue to make their voices heard as federal agents increase their presence outside of schools and near school bus stops. Derek James spoke to some students about their message to ICE and why they say speaking their mind matters.
As students returned to class Monday, planned walkouts took place across the metro. From Roosevelt High School in Minneapolis, where an ICE operation took place last Wednesday near where Renee Good was killed.
No more ICE!
To Roseville. And here in Maple Grove, these student walkouts are a show of solidarity and concern, not only for classmates, but for their communities as a whole.
My church has been getting threats because it was associated with Renee Good. I know a lot of my friends who might not necessarily even be immigrants are feeling fear just on the possibility of being racially profiled.
The Maple Grove protest stayed on campus with speeches, a short march, and a remembrance for Renee Good.
The heart of the message is to express our need for justice.
Roseville area high schoolers walked from their school to the Grace Church parking lot, stopping along the way on the Hamlin Avenue pedestrian bridge. At Roosevelt High School, many of the students saw Border Patrol agents come on school property as school was getting out. Their message? Stay away. While the districts have not endorsed the protests, they have acknowledged the weight of the moment and students' First Amendment rights in letters to parents. A freedom students say is needed now more than ever.
If you don't speak up, then it's going to continue happening.
With photojournalist Tony Peterson, Derek James, WCCO News.
Hats off to those kids. It gives you hope for the future. But, more importantly, if everyone did what they're doing, if everyone followed their example, this would be done within days. Trump would be dragged out of the country by oligarchs because all they care at the end of the day about is their bottom line. And that's kind of the irony here. Trump is so unhinged. That's part of the reason why this is really growing, is Trump is so unhinged. He's now starting to threaten the profits that, the billionaires can make. Like once, there's a certain point where fascism is, all great and dandy for these corporate people, but it gets to a certain point where they're like, wait a second, was this a bad idea? Is this guy unstable? But even more crucially, it's part of a globally growing pattern. The entire world is waking up to the dangers of leaving an octogenarian, dementia-riddled narcissist in the driver's seat. I mean, Europe is starting to show its teeth. Look at this.
NATO forces are on exercise in Greenland at a time when American designs on the island threaten the alliance's very existence. NATO has not confirmed its approval of the drills, which reportedly involve troops from Sweden, Germany, France, the Netherlands and Canada. Hosts Denmark framed it as part of a bolstering of Greenland's defences.
It is within the framework of NATO that we are conducting these activities, and it is Denmark as the host country that has taken these initiatives. Therefore, I cannot imagine, nor do I want to speculate, that a NATO country would attack.
France says it's acting in full solidarity with Denmark. Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu warned that Washington must be taken at its word.
It is clear that the intentions of the Trump administration are serious, and that we must absolutely not underestimate the words of the American president.
NATO chief Mark Rutte will meet a delegation from Denmark and Greenland on Monday in Brussels. It's unclear whether this particular exercise, Operation Arctic Endurance, is anything but routine. There have been many similar drills in recent years. The latest in September was called Arctic Light. It involved more than 550 troops, including military observers from the United States. Observing from afar is the covetous eye of the man in the White House, who continues to say that the US needs Greenland.
See, that's an excellent point made. We have to take Trump at his word, because that's the problem with crazy people, is they believe the crazy shit they're saying. You know, it's not appropriate now for Republicans to be like, oh, that's just Trump being Trump. No, that's the entire problem with Trump. Trump being Trump is the issue. But I think even Republicans are finally starting to see the danger that those of us with, you know, the smallest shred of emotional intelligence saw a decade ago. I'm going to show you these interesting social media posts. For context, this is Reddit's conservative subreddit, like a subforum, which is officially a collection of the dumbest people on the internet. This is literally the idiot Avengers. You could say something pretty reasonable to a regular conservative, like maybe Trump seizing control of the shares of tech companies isn't actually very conservative, and get downvoted to oblivion by loads of Russian agents. American patriots. Or you can get a million comments implying that you're a secret liberal for saying that, you know, maybe slavery is actually bad, or that states' rights still matter, or whatever. But this time, even the dribble farts in there are struggling to defend this bloviated narcissist, or even his mental state. I mean, look at this. This is sacrilege in this community, by the way. Another unforced error. This is why we need DeSantis or Vance. Same action, less of this stupid bullshit. As acknowledging that it's, you know, plural, there's more than some bullshit. This is the mentality of the Trump voter, but this is actually like the cult fading from the eyes. Like, this is somebody struggling to stay in the cult. I mean, look, I like Trump because he's unhinged. It was a breath of fresh air to see a politician talk without political correctness BS. Also, he pretty much gave us hope here in Europe that a brighter future with this guy's European, I'm going to keep the accent, but, you know, say more on different continent, was possible, that we had a voice and we were happy to be represented. But stuff like this, man, I don't know how I'll be able to justify such an action if true. I keep saying that's it, get us at NATO to get our shit together and not freeled off the US. We celebrated when he intervened in Gaza, Venezuela, and Iran, but you cannot threaten your allies like this. I just hope this is just a shenanigan and not more a shenanigan. These people are too dumb to vote. Jesus fucking Christ. This is what's hilarious about this platform. This guy said, too bad liberals don't microanalyze their own politician words like they do Trump. And somebody, and you know, a regular conservative or, conservative far right, what's the difference? But somebody who is a regular commenter on this said, this isn't microanalyzing. He's literally directly saying this. And that comment was there earlier. I wanted to show it to you, and it's gone now. It's been removed by a moderator. Like, this is the kind of platform we're talking about. You know, the party of free speech. This disillusioned poster says, I look forward to seeing how the No More Wars faction of the party reacts to this. And this guy said, well, this is not what I voted for. Except it is. You voted for a mentally ill old narcissist, and now he's doing mentally ill old narcissist shit. Deal with it. Own it. This is on you. This is what I'm talking about. This is a highly curated Russian psyop. American patriot space. You know, full of the biggest MAGA on the planet. And the biggest MAGA on the planet are so upset about this that their comments are being removed en masse, deleted by the admins. Like, they are suppressing all comments about it because Republicans are like, okay, this guy's fucking nuts. What the hell? I couldn't have seen this coming. So yes, getting back to the walkout, action like this matters and it is powerful, and that thread just shows it. It is a piece of a whole, which is a sum of its parts. If you are planning to participate tomorrow, we all salute you. If you'd like to participate, the link will be in the comments. I'd love to participate, but I don't really have a proper job, and if I staged a walkout at work, I would be walking out of my bedroom, which I try to only do once or twice a day. All jokes aside, we'll be here to report as the global backlash against Trump grows stronger. Stay safe out there. I'm British Chris, and this is Raw America.